The Newsday continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Some groups have gathered in Pasay City for a Black Friday protest against alleged anomalies in the recently concluded national elections. JC Cosico joins us live from Pasay to give us the details. Hi JC, how's it like over there?
Sean, several groups gathered here at the CCP complex for the so-called Black Friday protest. Now, the groups were supposed to march going to the PICC where the canvassing of votes is ongoing, but police personnel blocked them here at this stretch of the CCP complex, particularly here near the Harbor Square. And now we are expecting that their program for today will continue until this morning. Sean.
All right, JC, what are the specific irregularities that these groups are protesting against? Can you run them by us?
Sean, based on the statements of different personalities, they are calling on the COMELEC so-called alleged failure to conduct an honest and fair elections. Now, they are questioning the results of the recent polls following or where the leading candidates were Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte. They are questioning the fast transmission of results despite many vote counting machines failing on election day. Sean.
All right, and how is the traffic in that area? You are by Rojas Boulevard now, JC. Are the protests causing any traffic blockages? And are there any alternative routes that authorities have laid out for motorists?
Sean, there are several parts of CCP complex that where barricades were installed. That's why we're advising motorists to look for alternative routes, particularly here along the stretch of Harbor Square and CCP complex where the Black Friday protest is ongoing. Sean.
All right, thank you for that update. That was JC Cosico reporting to us from on the ground in Pasay City. And former Defense Secretary Teodoro says that majority of Filipinos are now rejecting the post-EDSA narrative, which toppled the Marcos regime. Teodoro said this on the back of the emerging top picks in the 2022 senatorial race. In an interview with the chiefs, Teodoro said that another factor in voter preference is the ability to work with the incoming administration.
I see one strand that they rejected the post-EDSA narrative, no? That is a common strand, and the common strand too is the ability to work with the incoming administration.
Teodoro also clarified that he has not yet discussed anything with presumptive President Bongbong Marcos regarding a possible cabinet appointment, but he expressed his willingness to work for the next administration.
There are no talks about it at this time, and I'll respect the prerogative of the presumptive president to choose his own cabinet, but I re-entered public service and I'm ready, willing, and able to help the country and the administration in whatever way I can.
And the city of Manila has welcomed its first female mayor. Mayor-elect Honey Lacuna vows to continue the programs of outgoing Mayor Isko Moreno. Romel Lopez with the report.
Manila Mayor-elect Honey Lacuna Pangan could not hide her emotion as the City of Manila's Board of Canvassers calls her name, proclaiming her the new mayor. At that moment, she gave a warm hug to her father, former Vice Mayor Danny Lacuna, who also previously attempted to become Manila Mayor. With more than 530,000 votes, Lacuna officially wins the mayoralty race in the capital city. But aside from this, Lacuna also makes history as the first female mayor in the city's 450-year history. Lacuna bested 5 other candidates for Manila Mayor.
Masayang-masaya para sa pamilya ko. Siyempre, matagal na namin itong pinangarap para sa tatay ko. Very honored po. After 450 years ng history ng Manila, nagkaroon na rin po ng babae. Thank you sa aking yorme na pinagkatiwala niya po sa akin na kaya ko po.
A physician by profession, Lacuna first worked in the government at the City Health Office from 1995 to 2004, before serving as councilor from 2004 to 2013. Lacuna also became vice mayor for two Manila mayors. First was Joseph Estrada in 2016 and recently for Isko Moreno in 2019. Lacuna promised a motherly touch in governing Manila, as well as continuity of programs started by outgoing Mayor Isko Moreno.
It doesn't mean naman pag babae, hindi ka malambot ka. Hindi. Siguro, mararamdaman na nila ngayon yung pagmamahal ng isang mother.
On her first 100 days in office, Lacuna pledged to continue existing programs for housing and health-related matters.
First 100 days, syempre, lahat ng mga programs na sinimulan namin ni Yorme, titingnan ko kung ano yung kailangan namin i-fast track.
Vice Mayor-elect Yul Sarbonieto meanwhile thanked Mayor Isko Moreno for what he called good governance that he brought to the city. Lacuna and Cervo belong to the local party Ascenso Manileño, which bagged 98% of Manila's total votes.
Siyempre masarap na masarap dahil yan sa tinanim ni Yorme Isko Moreno sa Maynila. At kami ang umanin lahat noon.
But Lacuna admits mixed emotions since her former political partner, Moreno, lost in the presidential race.
Yun po ang nakakalungkot. Bagamat hindi po pinalad ang atin pong Yorme, nandyan pa rin po siya lagi sa tabi namin dahil siya po yung pinakaama ng aming grupo. Kasama po yung tatay ko at alam po namin na hindi naman niya kami pababayaan.
Lacuna says she will continue to seek guidance from Moreno.
Bibigyan niyo ng pwesto, consultancy. Ito si Mayor Isko.
Hindi pa ho namin napapag-usapan yan pahinga muna po siguro. But he will always be my mentor.
For News 5, Romel Lopez. We are One News.
One News Now will be back with more stories after this quick break. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Despite the surge in COVID-19 infections due to the Omicron variant in January, the economy made a huge turnaround in the first quarter of 2022, growing by 8.3%. Shaila Francisco with the numbers.
Despite the surge of the Omicron variant, the country's economy still managed to grow during the first quarter. The Philippines' gross domestic product grew 8.3%, largely driven by the reopening of the economy. But growth in the succeeding quarters will face risks brought about by the Ukraine-Russia tension and pandemic-induced debt. This is what presumptive President Bongbong Marcos will inherit once he is in office. However, his economic plans remain unclear, at least for some economists and government officials.
The problem with the Marcos campaign was that it did not present a clear, coherent program, including a program for economic recovery. Now that he has won, we just have to wait and see.
The best way to address some of these concerns is, as the investors and other analysts have mentioned, is for the new administration to lay out its agenda.
For now, economists say that Marcos Jr. should prioritize forming an economic team within the first 100 days. For its part, the National Economic and Development Authority wants the new administration to immediately address problems on inflation and economic recovery. NEDA Chief Carl Kendrick Chua also said that it is crucial for the new set of leaders to maintain prudent fiscal policy and continuity in various reforms set by the Duterte administration. This includes the rice tariffication law, the comprehensive tax reform measures, liberalization bills, and the Build, Build, Build program.
Well, these pronouncements, I think, are in the right directions. The details are important. How to get it done. As I mentioned, we may agree on the problem, but how to solve it, we have to do it properly. Because everything is a trade-off.
Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
The country's outstanding debt soared to 63.5% of the economy in the first quarter of the year. That is the highest in 17 years. The Treasury reports that debt-to-GDP ratio in the first 3 months is the highest since the 65.7% recorded in 2005 under the Arroyo administration. It is also above the 60% threshold recommended by multilateral lenders for emerging economies like the Philippines. In money terms, the country's debt is now at 12.68 trillion pesos. And Finland is inching closer to joining NATO, as the President and Prime Minister said in a joint statement that they favor membership. More of the story in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Finland's long-term partnership with NATO is close and wide-ranging. During the past months, the public support for NATO membership has soared in Finland, being now somewhere around 70%. Strong popular support has been expressed in extensive polling, which has been followed by thorough consideration and respective decision by Finland's political parties. Actually, almost all parties have had their extraordinary meetings on the NATO topic now during the last months. Should Finland decide to apply, the accession of Finland would strengthen the security and stability of the Baltic Sea region and Northern Europe. Finland is a regional security provider and would further strengthen NATO as a future ally.
We are so small country, so we won't be able to do all these defense by ourselves, so we need to be member of the NATO.
Yes, I do think Finland would fit in. They already have a good relationship with the other NATO countries. So.
Seems like a good idea that the big countries will sort of stay as a security for a small country like Finland.
And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us again at 2 p.m. as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Sean Yao. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.